Welcome to a podcast unlike any other. Presented by the Central Pennsylvania Music Hall of Fame. In support of our local music scene. It's the Central Pennsylvania Music Podcast. Tonight's guests, Chris James. And Cold Spring Union. This episode is sponsored by Lebanon Valley College. And now, your hosts, Daniel Keim and Alan McCutcheon.
Hello and welcome to the Central Pennsylvania Music Podcast. I'm your host, Daniel.
And I'm your host, Alan.
And this week we have a very special guest. Probably know him as Hawaiian Chris James from 105.7 The X.
Hey, thanks for having me here.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm surprised you even knew who we were and that you even responded.
Yeah.
So
When the email came, I went, sure. I get paid for this, right?
we're going to talk about that later.
Okay.
We'll talk about that later.
Okay.
It depends on how well your performance is.
Yeah.
Dance, monkey, dance.
Don't tempt me.
You're paid on performance. So.
Okay.
So with that, Hawaiian Chris James, where does that nickname come from?
Yeah,
I've
I gotta
always
know.
wondered that ever since I was a kid listening to you.
The thanks for saying you were a kid listening.
sorry.
So now you
We told
no
Glenn
idea.
the same thing.
I honestly, it was a stupid thing that I did one year. This is how long ago it was. Bruce Springsteen's first live record came out. It was a box thing, and it was December, and it snowed that day. So I wore a Hawaiian shirt to work just to be a smart aleck, just because it was snowing that day. Little did I know that the TV station was coming in to film, because we actually played vinyl back then, of me putting the record on the air, and the program director was standing with the people from the TV station. They said, well, who is that? And he goes, that's Hawaiian Chris James. So that's what was under my head on TV. And to that day, I've been known as Hawaiian Chris James.
That's a cool story.
So were you happy about it? Like, were you happy
I
with it?
didn't even know it was going to happen until I watched it. I had all my friends watching it on TV, and all of a sudden it said Hawaiian Chris James, and I'm like, what? I was like, I had no idea. So I used to tell people I got laid a lot.
That makes Hawaii the lays. Yep. It took me a second, but I got there. That's really fun. So I mean, I'm assuming you just own the name now. Like you know it's part of your personality now.
Well, I never checked if it was copywritten or anything, but nobody ever sued me, so I think it's okay to have it.
I think you'll be okay now.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys say it on the air how many times a day?
To be honest with you, there's been times where I've been out and they say it's Chris James and they go Hawaiian. I'm like, yeah, that's who I am. Yes.
Sure.
Never even been to Hawaii.
My first name's Hawaiian.
Yeah, it is.
You've never been to Hawaii?
Never.
Oh my God, we got to get you there one of these days.
I've been trying for 38 years.
Hopefully, we can pay you enough and you can get there.
We'll do an
none of us
episode
are
on the
getting
beach.
paid either. So
We used to run we did a thing with AAA once where we were going to team up with them, and I said, well, how about getting me to Hawaii? And they said, well, how about we send you to Atlantic City? And I'm like, just as far, it's got a beach. Okay.
Not the same at all. But
No,
you're like,
that's-
in your
that's
head,
close.
you're like,
Close.
sure, I'm going to Hawaii. I'm
Sure.
in Hawaii. This is fine.
I've had grass skirts on. I've had coconuts on, but I've never been to Hawaii.
we got to do it. This is the mission. Get Chris James to
Hawaii.
There's the new GoFundMe.
Look for the new GoFundMe in the bio.
Get Hawaiian Christian. He can see the home of his people.
Yes. Me and Don Ho, man, we're close.
So how long have you been in radio now?
This is my 39th year.
Oh my goodness. So
Longer than you've been alive.
you're right. You're right. Wow, that's a good point. How did you get into radio? Is this something you wanted to do since you were a kid?
When I went to college, I wanted to be a sportscaster really bad, and I did radio. I tried out to. Ironically, I tried to be a DJ first, and I didn't make it, so I fell into being a sportscaster. And I traveled with the basketball and football teams my junior and senior year, which was kind of fun.
Yeah.
But at the time, I thought, you know what, this is what I want to do. Until I tried to go get a job, and I couldn't find anything anywhere. So I said, okay, I guess we'll try the radio thing. And ironically, I knew somebody in this area that gave me a shot overnights. But that shift doesn't even exist anymore.
I was going to say, yeah, it's all scheduled out now, isn't it? Overnight.
It's more shifts than you know are scheduled out. It's not just overnights.
Oh my
So
god.
we're learning some little secrets about the radio industry here, huh?
Oh, when I worked overnight Christmas time, I'll never forget this. Because we played vinyl, I put the record on and I laid down at about 3 o'clock in the morning and woke up to like the record played through and I fell asleep.
Oh no.
So yeah, it was.
How long had you been asleep?
I think about 20 minutes, 25 minutes, but nobody, I mean, it's overnight. Nobody called or anything. I don't think anybody knew. They do now. But
I was like, are you okay to say that now?
yeah.
I mean, that was years ago. Right? That was like 15, 20 years
I don't
ago.
even
right?
think the program director's alive anymore, so it's okay.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Fair enough.
So what's the cool, like, through all the time that you've done radio DJ and stuff like that, what's the coolest memory that you have, or like the coolest experience that you got to be part of from being a radio DJ?
I get asked this, and I think the coolest thing I ever had was Rolling Stones Steel Wheels Tour. Started in Philadelphia. I think it was like 89 or something like that. And I went there with my brother, and they gave one person from each radio station, you were allowed to go and say hello to the band. I said, okay, well, that's me. Sorry, my brother, you're not going to do that. So we're walking in, and ironically, in Newsweek magazine, there's a picture of the people walking in to the Rolling Stones concert, and there I am in Newsweek magazine. There I am, there I am walking in, and then the Stones people that they took back into a room, and it was the most surreal backstage I think to this day because there was like couches and all kinds of like stuffed chairs. It looked like the set of Friends, but there was all kind of food. And Charlie Watts walks up and goes, why don't you go over and sit down? I'm like, this is so weird.
Oh, my God.
Keith Richards is on the end of the couch on one side. Mick Jagger's walking around. I'll be honest, I wasn't the biggest Stones head, but to me, that was just so surreal.
Well,
Absolutely.
It's so cool to get to meet people of that caliber, you know?
Oh, yeah. I've been a whole bunch of like rock and roll stars, but that was just to me the weirdest, most surreal one.
Because they're quite literally like they're legends. Like they're legends of the music industry.
And the nicest guys, they'll sit down and just talk to you.
I have heard that about the Stones, that they're very personable.
It's funny. I mean, like a lot of people, it seems like a lot of people tend to forget they're at the end of the day, they're just people just like you and me,
Yeah.
you know?
Yep. Alice Cooper, I think, was the famous one that goes, hey, when I wipe my butt the same way you do.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, you're right.
Alice Cooper is probably, I would say, one of my favorite like musicians, for the sense that I like his music, not like the biggest fan of his music per se, but he is such an intelligent individual. He's so well educated. He's done so much like further education of himself. And they'll make fun of that, like in certain shows. I can't remember what show it is, but I just saw a clip of it the other day, where they kind of play it. They're like, Alice Cooper is like super intelligent. I can't remember what show it was, but yeah,
One of the best golfers around, too.
I've also
Really?
heard that too.
Scratch golfer.
Huh.
What?
Never would have known that.
Scratch.
What's that mean?
He's zero handicap. He can go out and just play with the pros if he wanted.
Wow.
That's dude. Alice Cooper is just an incredible person in general. But maybe one day we'll have Alice Cooper on
Yeah,
here.
that'd be cool.
But back to Chris.
Back
we
to
have
you.
Hawaiian Chris James.
As we
right now.
digress.
Hawaiian Chris James. So how did you get involved in the Central Pennsylvania Music Hall of Fame? You're on the advisory committee.
Yep. I answered an email that Brandon sent, but we were when I worked at WTPA, we had one of the first stations to put a local music show on the air, and so the Badleys, obviously Central PA Music Hall of Famers. I used to be known as the Sixth Badley, I think, for a while because everywhere they went, I would travel with them. We worked tirelessly to try and get them signed. So that was the first little inkling that this was kind of neat. So that we tried it we very close with the guys from Fuel, Jeffrey Gaines. This goes way back, but we put another local radio show on at the X now too. It was called Under the Radar. It's now called Your 15 Minutes, and I do it, and we bring the bands in, and I talk to them, and then play a couple of their songs. So local has always been, it's uncanny the talent that's in this area. People have no clue how good a lot of the bands are in this area, and I'm so mad when they would go to pay people to go out. No offense to the DJs that are in there, but there's so much local talent, and especially bands that play just their music and not covers, that it's worth your while to go see them.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. We talk about it pretty much every episode. There is something special coming from Central Pennsylvania, and we should acknowledge it. These people deserve it as much as anybody else.
Pay $10, go see them.
It's absolutely worth it. I get excited to go see local bands. A lot of people, I've heard people say, they're like, oh, it's just some local band. You never know. Sometimes that local band is way better than the band that's doing a countrywide tour right now. They're
And
just
also,
as talented.
Yeah, every major act that you've ever gone to see at some point was just that local band.
Yep.
They all start there. Like
for sure.
There's something special here, and I think it's really cool to be part of something that is highlighting that and spotlighting that, and I think it's really awesome. Like I was just talking to you about this like off air. Like I mean, again, not trying to insult you or anything, but I did listen to you as a kid and everything. But it's
fine.
It's really cool for me to be able to sit here in my chair now and like talk to you as a peer, and it's all over the same love and the same passion. It's like, and that's the music from this industry, and it's really awesome to be part of that. And
one of the reasons I wanted to get into radio was to play music. I had no idea I ever wanted to be a program director or anything like that. It was just to sit down. I thought it'd be cool to play music. And when I got to play some great music from the locals, that made it even more special.
Absolutely.
Get to promote everybody and help them out. And it's great that it's just so wild to me that Brandon just had this dream, and the next thing we know, we got the radio stations involved. We have the local venues, the bars, the studios. We have everybody involved because everybody realizes what we have here, and it's so refreshing.
I have a feeling you'll see the germ the way it was around when the Badleys and Fuel and Jeffrey Gaines and the guys from Live. I remember them when they weren't even live. I introed them at the old Metron. That could happen again with the caliber of bands. All it's going to take is one to get signed, and everybody will come back in here to look at.
It's true.
Yeah, we're going to kind of, not to kind of stroke our own ego, but I have a feeling that Central Pennsylvania is going to kind of turn into like a little Nashville or something like that,
I would love that. I'm up all hours of the night now. It'd be nice to go out and see bands at that time.
Yeah, right.
Right?
I know. And it seems like everybody's getting into doing live music. More venues are opening.
Yep.
The big thing lately being breweries. For the last couple of years, a lot of them are doing live music now.
Yes.
Where 20 years ago, you had your venues, you had your bars, and then you had your coffee shops. And those are still there. And they walk so these people could run, It's good to see that now everybody is branching into this kind of stuff.
I think you're going to see it's going to explode relatively soon, I think. A couple of really big bands in this area, I think, are ready to go.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, we've also seen, like, in this area, I mean, especially being a radio DJ, during COVID, there was a lot of people that were like, they didn't know what was going to happen to live music. They were like, this could quite literally be the death of, like, live music.
Mm-hmm.
Now we've gotten through that and everything, and I've seen a bunch of bands, like people like that I'm friends with that are in bands. They posted essentially the same thing, that they're like, there was a point here not too long ago where we thought live music was going to end. Like it wasn't going to go. But like now with the end of COVID, we have seen such an explosion of live music because it's like people didn't realize that was something that I think they missed. Mm-hmm. And it's just exploding so much more now. Like almost everywhere you go, like someone's playing music or has live music, and it's just a really cool thing to see that I think it has exploded since COVID.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's like almost like you're saying it exploded. It's like rather than it going away, it really just kind of created this bubble, and this bubble's now starting to burst in the best way possible.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep. I'll be the front and center with everybody else at the front of the stage.
Yeah, right? I know. I love it.
But what kind of
Who's
beer
the
are you
old
gonna
guy up front?
What kind of beer are you going to have up there, though? Because I know you're a beer enthusiast, so when you're up in the front line, what kind of beer are you going to have in your hand?
It's kind of funny. I remember when Coors Light first came into this area, they made a really huge deal. I'm like, oh, that's great. Let me try it. But now I'm like, no. Sorry, Coors Light. I'll do anything from a Hefeweizen to a stout or a porter, the IPAs, the hazies. I mean, equal opportunity. I used to hate sours. I'm even doing those now as well.
See, I love sours.
I'm dipping into sours. I can do slightly sours now.
I cannot do IPAs. Does not matter. Cannot do it.
I'm with you. The first time I did it, I thought I was licking dirt, but eventually you get used to it.
Yep.
See, I just don't see I could ever get used to like the taste of watching my neighbor go out and mow his lawn, going out, grabbing all of his grass clippings, putting it in a blender with water, and then drinking that. I'm like,
I hear
refreshing.
you. To me, gin is nothing but like drinking pine trees, so I can't do that. So I'm with you.
I also love gin.
Not a huge
See,
fan of gin.
it's like,
Okay, all right.
it's like going out and licking a pine tree.
I think this is right side, left side brain stuff going on here,
Well, unfortunately, after a few
Tastes
nights
different.
like that, after a night like that, both sides of my brain are scrambled. So it's
That's true.
That's true.
Those IPAs will sneak up on you.
yeah, there's a couple. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So before we let you go, though, Chris, I want to ask you, where do you see the future of radio? Where do you see radio in like 10, 15, 20 years?
I'll be dead, but
Jesus God.
Come on.
I'm older than you think I am.
I don't think
I
you
don't
are.
think you're that old.
I'm glad you said that.
Thank you. We're going to leave that alone and just keep on going.
I think it's in a metamorphosis now that with the dawn of the way technology is taking over now, there'll be less. I hate to say this, but less jobs. When I got into this business, I didn't want to go into TV because there was a ton more jobs in radio than there was in TV. It has totally flip-flopped where they're zooming voices in from other towns to take. I mean, there's a lot of stations in this market that have people that are on the air that people think are here and they're not. They're zoomed in from somewhere else. Mm-hmm. And I think you're going to see, unfortunately, a lot more of that where there'll be like one local show and the rest will all be zoomed in from somewhere just because you forget. Same way with the music. It's a business and they're looking to cut costs wherever they can. But I think the local will still win out because people have to know their local news. They have to know. Heck, they have to know. It used to be that we were only there to let you know when your snow closings happen. You can get them on your phone now too. So I mean, it's
true.
But there'll always be someone local around, just not as many as there are now. I'll be sitting on a beach in Key West by then, though.
Honestly, I wish I could be there right there with you. So, I mean, hey, it sounds like you got in when the getting was good, and you got to experience
I went through the 80s and 90s when it was a little different.
I feel like it was a hell of a different world being a radio DJ in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, that was the time that they used to call it there were independent record promoters that when they wanted to get their records played would have different enticements that they would offer radio stations. Let's put it that way. That doesn't exist anymore.
I feel like that's probably somewhat illegal now, maybe.
Well, it was illegal then too.
I love it. We're getting all the spicy details.
We're getting all the dirty details. Well, we will see you at the CPMAs, correct?
I will be there. I'll be doing the rock stuff on stage.
But no, so that makes sense. I mean, you work with 105.7 The X. That's the rock. So
yeah,
it makes sense that you should be the voice, announcing that then. So that's awesome. But we'll very much so be looking forward to seeing you there.
I'll be there. I'll see you at the party afterwards too.
Yes.
Oh, we'll be at the party. Don't you worry.
Maybe
we can.
Once again, left brain, right brain. By the end of the night, no brain.
Maybe we can see if you can get some of those independent record incentives at the after party for old time's sake.
Okay.
All right.
Be careful what you ask for.
All right. Hey, let's see what happens. Chris, thank you so much for coming on. It was
Thanks
a
for
pleasure
having me.
you.
This is fun.
Thank you. And our next guest is Cold Spring Union. Welcome, guys. We got Cody. We got John. You play guitar, and you both sing, correct?
Absolutely.
That's awesome. So for the people that don't know, Brandon, the president and founder of the CPMAs and the Central Pennsylvania Music Hall of Fame, he is the drummer for this band.
Award-winning band.
Award-winning band, actually. Yeah, that's true. I'm terrible for even forgetting that. I mean, Danny, you can take over from here if you want.
Tell us, what award did we win?
Didn't you guys win Best Folk Band last year?
I believe it was Best Alternative Country Band.
That's what it
That's
was.
what it was.
Okay,
Best Alternative Country Band.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
You guys deserve it. You guys' music is really good.
Hey,
thanks,
so
man.
much,
Thanks.
Yeah, we were just talking about that. I thought I hadn't heard your music, but then Danny played one of the songs, and I was like, oh, no, I've definitely heard that song. So, yeah, you guys are definitely, on the air, around places. We've definitely heard your music. And it is good. I really enjoy it.
I like folk personally, so, I don't listen to a whole lot of it, but I'm, like I said, whenever I met Brandon, he told me he was in Cold Spring. I checked you guys out, and I was like, damn, this is good. And, kind of got me back to my folky roots, It was cool.
Yeah.
So how long you guys been a band now?
What, 5 years, 6 years?
Going on 5 years.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
What do you guys got on the schedule coming up? What's next for Cold Spring Union?
We're definitely looking forward to Vegas. Playing out there, it'll be our first time playing out, and always looking forward to going out on the road with these guys and just having a good time.
Of course,
somewhere new and making new friends.
Anytime you can go out doing something by doing what you love is a good time.
That's a cool thing. Just so many cool experiences just because we play music, Isn't that wild? I've never been to Vegas. I probably will never go again.
Even if I have a great time, I'm never going to go.
Probably not. But yeah, because of music we get to do that. It's kind of cool.
Absolutely. I'd be rather playing music in Vegas than probably doing anything else in Vegas.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So
because it's a very expensive city. Just imagine 24/7 tourist pricing everywhere.
Oh,
it's great. I was out there for 30 months. For 30 days. Not 30
Holy
months.
cow!
I was out there for 30 days for training. At one point, and it was great because I love Vegas. But after the second week, and mind you, I'm getting paid to be there, and I have free housing while I'm there. But I'm just like, golly, I'm getting paid to be out here, but like I'm still like broke because like everything costs so much money when you're out there.
That's how I feel about Nashville. Like I feel like every time we're in
Nashville's
Nashville, it's
expensive.
like if you don't watch yourself, you're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
You wake
It's so
up next week,
expensive to
oh
be
my
here.
God,
A
I
Bud
spent
Light-
$2,500.
Just being here.
A Bud Light is stadium pricing at any bar you go to.
$10
Yes.
Yeah, man.
What?
Oh yeah, it ain't cheap. I heard a rumor. I don't know if it's true. So one of the bartenders down there told me they have like they call it a sin tax. It's like alcohol, tobacco, anything that's like deemed bad is like they put like an additional tax on it, and that's what makes things more.
That makes
expensive.
sense. I mean, you got all those weird old laws. Like I know one of the old laws that still technically isn't outlawed, like no one follows it. But in Pennsylvania, if you in a vehicle come across a horse and buggy, like a horse and buggy is coming towards you, you are supposed to disassemble your vehicle and move it to the side of the road while the buggy passes. But yeah, you're essentially supposed to take your vehicle off the disassemble it off the road and allow the buggy to pass because it's against their religion.
Well, that's actually really funny because I went to Shippensburg University, where there's a ton of Amish in the area out around there. Which, by the way, I feel like that was an excellent time to mention that we are currently drinking some homebrewed Amish moonshine from Tennessee.
Delicious.
I'm still getting over something right now, so
Yeah.
I got some electrolytes here.
But the funniest thing
This is
to
my
me about
breakfast.
that is like when you are like, you know, laying in bed, it's like 1 o'clock in the morning, but then you hear the horse and buggy come.
Yeah.
And it's like somebody on like Rumspringa or something because they're just blasting Eminem in their horse and
They
buggy.
get after it
So
on
like,
Rumspringa?
I don't want to hear anything about having to pull my car over and like disassemble the fucking motor while you're going by just like bang, 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 you know, gangster rap and everything. It's all tax evasion, let's be honest.
Let's be real. Let's be real. They're the smart ones. They're like they've got it perfectly down. Closed society. Oh, we don't believe in this, but whenever you get in there, they're just living it up. They just put on a really good front to get out of taxes.
Oh my God, dude. I can't tell you how many times I've sat and like had a cigarette with somebody named Rudy, you know, and it's like, I thought you guys didn't smoke. And he's like, oh, it's all cool. Like we grow our own tobacco, we roll everything ourselves, and apparently they distill their own, you know, fine moonshine here. So, you know, but whatever, man. Live and let live.
Live and let live.
But
Exactly.
I'm not pulling over.
No, I'm gonna burn out next to you and be like, this is what you would get if you had more than 1 horsepower. Right? Like, it's the craziest thing.
I have 375 of those under this bad boy.
Oh my God.
So you guys have what, an album and an EP out?
Yeah. So we
Yeah.
did the preamble EP, which was
Right.
really kind of like our first toe into the water of releasing things as a band.
Yeah, we were just figuring things out. We had just started pretty much.
But I like that we kept the feel of like, you know, John and I trade back and forth like vocals and guitar licks. So what's cool about preamble is it's very balanced, like right down the middle.
That's
It's
awesome.
like every other song, it's like one's John, one's me, and it brings a lot of different flavors to the table, I think.
Right. Yeah, totally.
So, and then the live album that we did at the Englewood in Hershey, PA, which was an excellent experience. We had a ton of great people there with us that night, and
Yeah.
I felt like we played really well, and
Yeah, it was a good time.
got to put a bunch of stuff there and working on doing some more fun things.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So we got another thing coming in the works. Basically, nothing's being said yet, but I'm excited to hear more music from you guys. I really like your guys' music.
Thanks, man.
Thanks so
Thank
much.
you.
I think a big thing for it too is like, because I'll be honest, like I'm not a big folk music person, but like for me personally, like if I know the artist and like if I know the art, this kind of sounds like I almost sound like big headed, but like if the artist that I meet is not a douche, like if you're not like big headed about everything, like if I can enjoy you as a person, I'm going to enjoy your
Absolutely,
music
man.
a lot more.
I firmly believe that no one's good enough to be an asshole.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what I
Exactly.
seriously.
Exa- But you'd be, I mean, you wouldn't be surprised because you're in the same industry.
Oh,
so
we've met
no,
some.
there's definitely people out there that they do
They're out
think that
there.
they're.
I feel like it's like an unspoken rule though. Like if you play music, there is an element of hubris there. But
There
at
should
the same
be.
time,
Totally,
too,
yeah.
though. Like because you're gonna go out, you're just gonna give it everything that you got. Like you're
Yeah.
pretty exposed when you walk out.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
I think that takes a lot of confidence. But
Yeah.
I think also too recognizing like you're not the only person who's doing things, and we all grow
Absolutely.
together. I mean,
Yeah.
I think that's
Your community.
yeah, and I think that's playing together, like especially with this guy, like I feel like iron sharpens iron, So
Oh,
like,
yeah.
there's always that element of ego, like I want to do the best, I want to go out and I want to play this, and I want people to like listen to it and be like, wow, like that's fucking cool. I want to hear that again.
Yeah. For sure.
That leads to a great point that I think should be brought up. You guys are both solo musicians on your own when you're not doing Cold Spring Union, and then you come together and you do Cold Spring Union, and like you said, iron sharpens iron there. It's really neat to listen to a band with two frontmen that both do their own things on their side, because then you guys are bringing in your own experiences and you get this really organic sound to you then. Because
and you guys don't have
your creative freedom there.
Yeah.
And you guys aren't like having a pissing match.
No,
because
It's never been
different,
competitive.
man. Like,
really.
it's-
That's always been a thing. Like I played in a band that had two vocalists and I was one vocalist, and like that was kind of always a thing. It was like it was a fine line. It's like, okay, well, like we don't want people to think you're the main vocalist or whatever. It was stuff like that. So like that's really awesome that you guys know you're good in your own way, and then you just also recognize that we can make each other better.
Absolutely, and we don't really play the same way. We don't sing the same way. It's not,
I feel like we both have roots in like folk and bluegrass,
Totally.
Especially bluegrass, just with the area that we come up in. I didn't realize I was country till I was told I was country. I was probably like in my early 20s, like playing out in college, and somebody called me country boy because I had my boots on, and I was like, I didn't know that I was country. I always thought it was just rock and roll, you know?
Yeah.
But I'm from Fulton County, too. It just was just kind of part of how you're raised, I guess. But, like, as far as, like, our music, though, like, we have very different tastes. Like, we cross, like, intersect on, like, Turnpike Troubadours and Childers and Stapleton and, like, all these great newer artists. But, like, I'd say, like, coming up, though, like, I was definitely a rock
Cody's
guy.
a shredder.
I was into, like, GNR and Metallica and Megadeth. Like,
Okay.
And then, it's, you know, I used to have, like, the Tunnels and shit. I was big into the metal scene.
Yeah.
You know, it's
I like
different.
Like, classic rock. I think the first, probably the first songs that I ever really learned were like Leonard Skinner, you know, Southern rock and that kind of stuff. You know,
My first song I ever learned on guitar is a weird one. It's Swing Swing by the All American Rejects. Super easy.
And that's why I learned it, because I can say I have one song underneath my belt.
There you go.
I don't blame you. I mean, I could never do that. Like, I played bass for like 6 months, and I was like, and then one of my bandmates was like, you should probably try to sing. And I was like, what?
How are you?
How's
it possible to be bad at bass?
No, it was, I realized, I was like, this isn't like as much fun. And then like they wanted to like explore like screaming on certain things. And I was like, I'll try it. Cause I mean, I'd already been practicing I didn't tell anyone that I had been doing that for like 2.5 years. I was like, I'll try it. And then they were like, you want to be a vocalist? And from that point on, like I was only ever a vocalist like in a band. So, but I do miss the bass sometimes. Just, I think I think you guys could understand, especially doing guitar and vocals. I feel like at times there's got to be times where you're like, all right, you know what? Tonight I would love to just do vocals and not have to do guitar. And then there's other nights you're like, I really wish I didn't have to do vocals and I could just focus on guitar.
Yeah. I feel like the second is probably more true for us. Like
with the vocals,
I started singing out of necessity. So
Likewise.
I was told I had an open mic gig kind of deal at a coffee shop. I wasn't even old enough to drive yet. And there was like this Russian dude in the back, like drinking a bottle of vodka.
What?
And he's like, dude,
That's
can
awesome.
I play something on your guitar? I had this Takamine G series with me. I was like,
that's
yeah,
the
man,
first-
go
is it the
for it.
first guitar? Yeah, it's the same one I got. Yeah.
So this dude sits down and starts playing like classical music, and he just destroys it. And I'm like,
gosh.
you should just play for the rest of the night. Like, I think I was just playing for tips, you know?
Yeah.
But anyway, he called me out. He's like, dude, you need to sing. Nobody's going to want to listen to you if you don't sing. And he's like, it's got nothing to do with you. It's just people like to hear lyrics. Like, that's what really like helps people connect. And I mean, like, I also enjoy like film score and like things like that. Like John Williams is like one of my heroes.
Yep.
But at the same time too, like that was, I think for me when I started singing was because I felt like that was what you had to do to get people's attention. But I've always just been a guitar player at heart.
Yeah, likewise.
So, but yeah, so we sing because we have to.
I feel like a lot of guitar players like it's the natural progression. I'm sorry. The natural progression is singing, because I started playing guitar when I was like 12. I'm not good. I hardly play anymore. But like, you learn a song on guitar, especially if you're an acoustic player. You're like, oh well, it'd be cool if I could just sit around a campfire and somebody's like, hey, play a song. Cool. You want to be able to sing and play the whole thing. And like I said, it just turns into that.
It's a real rewarding thing to be able to say, I love this song, and then learn it, and then be able to.
I could never do that. I could never play an instrument and sing. I just know I don't have the talent
you
to
could
do both.
You could definitely do it.
No,
anybody can do it.
I appreciate you guys, but
I really think so.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's just it takes a lot of practice. A lot of The big thing that's been said by a lot of people lately, and I'm glad it's kind of coming to light, is like so many people are like, "Oh, you're so talented." It's like, I'm not talented. I just practice really hard at this.
That's a great
real.
point.
Yeah.
Dude, I
feel
sucked
like-
for years.
That's something that people take for granted so much, and like
Yeah.
even like on the solo thing, because like we have day gigs too that we work, you know. But like people don't understand, like when you're going in, it's like, dude, it's not just like booking a performance. Like you're not just paying me because I do this. It's like how many years of practice have gone into this, and like the songs that we write too, like they don't just come from nothing. Like that's that's my life.
Yeah, that's your
You know,
that's your
like,
experience.
So like you're paying for like things that like I've gone through, and then you try to share it in a way that other people can relate to it, or hopefully you can take something out of it.
Exactly.
You know.
Yep.
So, but there's so much more that happens than just going out and doing 3 sets on a Friday night.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
that's true. I wish venues kind of would take that into consideration then too, because I mean, you guys are from this area. I'm sure you guys lived through the whole pay-to-play era, and it was terrible because it's like that's the exact opposite the way the industry should have been working, and it was horrible. So it's nice to see that the area is definitely shifting away from that now. 'Cause I think they kind of realized their mistake. If you be too greedy, then you're not going to have a scene.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't think it was the area. I think it's more the era.
that's
Yeah,
true.
yeah, totally.
That's
Era.
true.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
true.
yeah.
It was an era. You're right. That's a good correction.
Yeah, because it's just I don't want to say music died for a little while, but it got a little stagnant, and now you were seeing this giant push again. And it's amazing.
There's
to see.
so much talent in Central
So
Pennsylvania.
much talent, dude.
Like, if Harrisburg were a bigger city, there's no reason why we couldn't have that kind of a draw. You know
Yes,
what I mean?
absolutely.
But like, there's just as much talent here as there is in
Anywhere.
Nashville.
Yeah.
It's just we're all so scattered, and we don't have the same draw. Like,
No.
we're not known for that. But there are people here that are great. Like, we've been talking about a local legend that just passed away here, Chubb. If you
what a
guys
great
are
guy.
familiar with him, Carl Enyart, which he refuses to answer to that name. But, I mean, that dude has written more songs than I think anybody I've ever met. I'm talking just stacks of songbooks. And
Whoa.
but like has poured into everybody's life. He was a huge member of the music community.
Yeah.
So I think it's cool because when people start to get recognized for things that they're doing with that too, then we can start bringing more people up, and you get to hear more musicians. It's not just about
It's not a
the same
competition.
3 bands
Yeah,
that
right.
play the same venues all the time.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I would love to see Harrisburg get to a point where we have a street that any door you walk into, there's going to be live music playing, because
Yeah, right.
we have the population
totally.
to fill it.
Totally.
You know, I think that'd be something that would be great to see in the future.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So what's the future looking like for Cold Spring and Union right now? I mean,
Just gonna keep doing what we do, Cody. Right? Write songs.
Absolutely.
Play
I mean,
out. That's it.
we started this because we wanted an opportunity. With John and I were both feeling like we want to do more original music. Tired of doing the cover band thing. There's a time and a place for it. We still play covers, but we recognize too, like we saw an opportunity of like, hey, if we could take something cool and make it ours and take the sounds that we enjoy doing and then just make it fun too. Like going and doing something. And then an opportunity as guitar players too to just kind of stretch your legs a little bit,
Yeah.
so you're not just playing the same solos all the time.
That makes sense.
But I feel like we've all grown a lot as musicians, and we didn't know what was going to happen when we started it, but we've had so many cool experiences, playing
That's
in
awesome.
Nashville,
Yeah.
playing in Texas, going to Vegas, like just getting to like get out and
You got to just be so grateful for all that. I mean, it's crazy.
yeah, it's
It's like
it's fun, it's awesome.
That
is fun.
That
Yeah.
is awesome. I'm really excited for you guys. Like that's incredible. I think the furthest away I played was like right across the Maryland line. Like and it was at
cool.
summer.
That's
It was
cool,
summer, and it was with oh god, what is the name? I can't remember the name of the song, the artist, but the song is they're famous for Butterfly. Like you're my butterfly,
Be my sugar baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's who we opened for, and I was like, this is not the same genre at all. I was like, but sure, we'll go. Like, and that was weird. But like, yeah, to be able to go to Texas, Vegas,
Yeah.
Nashville, dude, that's awesome. Like, congratulations to you guys.
Thanks,
It's very
man.
well
Thanks, man.
deserved.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
well, thank you guys for coming on. Do you have anything you want to shout out or anything?
We got the double coming out.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So
Double or
the
nothing.
double or nothing, which is again, like I think kind of keeps the vibe of CSU together. Like John and I switch things back and forth, so it's going to be one of his singles, one of my singles, but it's all Cold Spring Union.
That's awesome.
But other than that, I mean, I think we just want to express our gratitude too, because we couldn't do this without the people that support us and stand behind
We're
us.
gonna do this with or without you anyway. So thank you so much for accepting us.
You know what?
Well,
Screw
you know what,
everyone
man?
else.
I think
you know.
we've all been in the position too where you play to an empty room and those like gut wrenching evenings, and I am grateful that that doesn't happen.
It's not
as
all.
much
That's not
anymore.
all the time.
And that would
right?
only be with the people that actually have taken the time to get to know us in our music and have found something in it that either resonates with them or that they can appreciate. And we're grateful for that.
That's
Well,
awesome.
awesome. Dude, it was seriously a pleasure meeting you guys, and I can't wait to see you guys. You guys are going to be at the CPMAs, right?
Absolutely.
All right. We'll see you there then.
We'll see you there.
Cool.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
guys.
Thank you.
Hi, this is John.
This is Cody.
We're from Cold Spring Union, and this is our new release.
Living in the moment.